Hey, welcome back. And let's just be honest. Roland, how the hell can you play some Slayer and a faith-based song on the same day? Well, that's why it's all confusing. I served multiple masters on my path to get to this point, but it is, by far, the one band that made me question poor choices or decisions or however you want. And you do you. You do you. But I've said this before, I'll say it again. This album has Silent Scream on it, which is quite pertinent to today's ruling. I side with Life. The only caveat I have there is I think they should invent a little pill that you take the moment you're done having premarital or unprotected whatevers. If your decision is you don't want the miracle of life to take place. I digress. Behind the Crooked Cross is one of those songs that made me question. So for me, this album seemed like if there was a slight undertone of questioning this as a path. Now, this came up in a comment. I will bet, just like everybody out there, there are groups, there are people who practice weird stuff that I probably would get along with as well. Someone important to me left a comment making that point, and I have to try to stop ostracizing, or, you can't put everyone in the same basket. It doesn't work. It's my point. To me, this was about questioning certain choices. Now, you could just take it as a hard-hitting metal song. If you're not into metal, now's the time to go to maybe the end or skip forward till I start moving around and talking. Just saying. I understand not everybody's a Slayer fan, and I don't have a band I like more. Oh, we're going to probably do some Judas Priest Dissonant Aggressor today. Maybe a side-by-side back-to-back. That'd be fun. So, yeah, we're going to maybe do my personal breakdown on it. So this would be Slayer Bar Breakdown, I guess. Time melts away in this living inferno, trapped by a cause that we once understood. Let's see. I once understood. something sick. I can't remember that. What's that first line? Sickness building inside of me. Trapped by a car that I once understood. Feeling of sickness building inside of me. Who will I really have to answer to? So for me, I was steeped in LaVey at this time in my life. Anton LaVey had shown me a way to escape from the constraints of my oppressive Christian upbringing. Now, that was not true. In hindsight, I can look back, and it turns out that Macaroni Jesus's and, Jesus Loves All the Little Children songs, Michael Row Your Boat Ashore and all that, was not as anywhere as indoctrinating and exclusive or inclusive and controlling as my peers wanted to believe. In fact, that was probably one of the higher points of my youth, was all that. But then you get that hormonal typhoon. Your folks are evil and the crappy people, and you don't love them no more, and you want to be you. Well, I didn't question who I'd answer to. I just believed what I was being told, and then said, ooh, let's get powerful and strong and make good things happen. And we did that. Not too long. And I ended up in prison, so I wonder what the cosmic retribution for serving multiple masters was. Probably a lot of the bumps in the road. Now, you do you, like I'm saying. I mean, look at that. How can you not just get sucked into evil? What a horrific picture. And if you can't get past that to the questioning of ideologies, you're never going to be able to self-analyze. And on one side note, has anybody seen Grandpa Tom talk? Any of them? He got interviewed by a couple young ladies, and holy smokes, if you want to talk about misconceptions of music versus humanity, I think Tom Araya is one of them. In my personal opinion, I don't know enough about him. I'm not that kind of fan. I don't actually do statistics. I don't do trivia. Movies. So if this was a movie channel, oh man, do I like movie trivia. But that's not what we do. I like music appreciation. Blind obedience carries me through it all. Conscience is a word I long to forget. Or what? With no emotions, my feelings oppressed. Yeah, I don't have that problem no more. Feelings are a true part of my existence and help regulate things that could build up to a destructive nature. My feelings, in all the ways they go, I don't think my feelings outweigh your facts, but I think all our feelings are relevant to our personal well-being. I think that's why we see so many people steeped in anger and angst and rebellion, and so there's an imbalance. I guess if all you see is the negative side of everything, then the balance is going to be out of whack, I guess. That's why I try to be personally, all opinions are for entertainment purposes only, try to be, pessimistic in some things, optimistic in other, maybe having a little bit of balance. So yeah, there's certain things that I can't strive for as much as I want to, but then there's other things that I can overachieve at. In the end, maybe the balance is what keeps it moving forward and not sedentary, stagnant. We'll go back and listen. So I've mentioned I'm not it bites having to admit that you don't care for the solos in your favorite band's music. Just don't. Okay, that being said, their solos do fit with the arrangements incredibly well. So even if it's not my favorite part of the songs, boy, they go. They're consistent with the arrangements and sound, at least through this album. Through what? Decade of Aggression, and then it got heavier, I guess it'd be the way I'd want to put it. But the same thing happened to Pantera for me. I really, really dug them, and then all of a sudden, after Far Beyond Driven, it it's just that one step too far. Didn't dislike them, just stopped listening. But the solos are definitely consistent with the arrangements, so I mean, who am I to say anything? Catch that? So this is why this song represents what it does, why I could play a Christian song and a Slayer song all in the same set. Because the Christian song and the Slayer song come together to give me a complete understanding of self. I now know why I rebelled. And then here, as a secret side note to those playing along at home, Here's why I make the blanket statements about Luciferians and Satanists. I hung out with some of them. Decent people, but when it comes down to the toolkit you're using to navigate life, that toolkit had to be put away. The music isn't necessarily a soundtrack to that life. It can just be music too. This one on the other, is part of the soundtrack to it all. But you know what I mean? It's why I always bring stuff up, but I don't really care. Right? We could spend, you could count the blasphemic images in the album cover. Sure we can. But then I could also, was it Grosh? Hold on. All right, sorry. It took me a bit. I said Grouch or something. It's Hieronymus Bosch or Bosch. I don't know it. I knew the work, of course, from art history. It's super famous, right? It's horrific. But if this side, I try to explain. I mean, not to be a weirdo, but the people who get individuals who find offense in everything, but then ignore inspiration and where everything came from. This is why I'm taking the Jordan Peterson approach to my faith now. Influence, inspiration, and the path of the creative process, that all exists, and you've got to lay it out. The person who looks at this and says, horrific, who could think of that? And doesn't realize that 1,000 people already have, and it's part of popular culture, whether you like it or not. This is the folks I probably lose. Because I know they're not complicated ideas, but they have to be grasped to understand why you don't get offended, or why you can brush off the offense, identify, and move on. I hope that makes sense. Gosh, this was a long one. Oh, yeah, because this is an important song. But yeah, that I already showed you. That's the stuff I think about. Is like, I instantly see it, and then I go, wait a minute, there's a classic image it's drawn from. It's not fresh and original at all. It's repackaged ideas from the past to scare the straights. Fucking weird. Oh! Love it. Love it. Yeah. Enough said. I guess. 19 minutes for a 3:14 song. Wow. I guess I needed to get that out. That's actually what I need to do every day. Thanks for helping me. I mean that. Later.